This topic is on writing chemical reactions. Your learning targets are I can use symbols and words to write chemical reactions. What is a chemical reaction? It is when one or more compounds interact to form one or more new compounds. The new substances are formed from the same atoms at the beginning. For example, the reaction 2H2O goes to 2H2 plus O2. So we have, at the beginning, we have H and O at the beginning, which we can see over here. So there's H and O. Therefore, we can only have H and O at the end. To write this reaction in words, we have water reacts to produce hydrogen and oxygen gas. We are going to do some more examples in which you'll get to see a little bit closer how we created that. What do we need for a chemical reaction? We need to have reactants and products. Reactants react to form the products. That's what happens in a reaction. Reactants are always before the arrow. They're what you start with. Products are always after the arrow, and they're what you end with. So, for example, that equation that we just looked at, we have 2H2 plus O2 goes to 2H2O. So anything that comes before the arrow are going to be our reactants. And anything that comes after the arrow are going to be our products. How do you distinguish between an element and a compound? This is going to be important. So remember that an element has one capital letter. A compound has two or more capital letters. So if we take a look at the examples that we have, H, how many capital letters do we have? We only have one, so it is an element. Take a look at the next one. It is HF. How many capital letters? We've got one, two, so it is a compound. Okay, take a look at the next one. How many capital letters do we have? We have one, so be careful with the AL and CL. Sometimes it looks, all right, we'll try to make it obvious, but AL only has one capital letter, so it is an element. And as we take a look at the last one, how many capital letters do we have? We've got one, two, three, so it is a compound. All right, let's do some practice reading and writing chemical reactions. So, first things first, we're going to create a little cheat sheet here. So, a plus sign. In words, that means reacts with, if it's on the reactant side. All right, we then have the arrow, and that means to produce. And then we can also have a plus sign on the product side, and this will mean and. So let's go ahead and do a few examples. So the first example is written in symbols, so we're going to put it in words. So HCl, we can use the symbols for the compounds. So we have HCl plus, okay, so that plus sign is on the reactant side because reactants are before the arrow. So I'm going to write the words reacts with. All right, I'm going to put the second compound that we have there. So HCl reacts with NaOH. Then I'm at the arrow. So if I use my little cheat sheet, the arrow means to produce. All right, so it's going to produce what compounds? H2O. Then I have a plus sign on the product side. So that means and then my second compound, NaCl. So overall, HCl reacts with NaOH to produce H2O and NaCl. So remember that the symbols in the compounds turn to words when we want to write it. Okay, let's go the other way. So now I gave it to you in words, and I want you to put it in symbols. We're still going to use the same key. So we're going to start by writing the element that we have, so H2. Then we have the words reacts with. So go to your cheat sheet. What is reacts with in symbols? It is the plus sign. O2, to produce. What does to produce mean? To produce, go to your cheat sheet. That is your arrow. To form water. And water is H2O. So you will get a little bit of practice of this on Schoology. All right, and what are some signs that a chemical reaction has occurred? You have temperature change, color change, and a gas produced.